That is a shock to you, and it's going to be hard on them, and rightfully so, because they just lost a loved one. My heart pleads for them. My heart goes out to them.
Now at 6:30, a local sheriff grieves for 8 lives lost when a bus full of farm workers flipped over. What we know about the driver now charged in their deaths. Good evening, this is News 6 at 6:30, getting results. Thanks for joining us here live on News 6 Plus. I'm Justin Mormon.
And I'm Ginger Gadsden. After middle schools called the cops 257 times in 1 month, Volusia County called on deputies to be on campuses permanently. Ahead, the evidence it's getting results, but at what cost? Also,
I mean, we have people that have been working here for 30 years, 40 years, maybe even more.
And what do they do now?
That's a really good question.
so what's next for hundreds of local Red Lobster workers whose restaurants suddenly shut down, and how you have a shot at owning some of the equipment from some of those restaurants?
But now at 6:30, we do want to start with word of an arrest in a truly tragic crash. At least 8 people were killed, 46 wounded, 8 critically. Troopers say a driver was under the influence when his truck sideswiped a bus carrying farm workers, causing that bus to overturn. Tonight, 41-year-old Brian Howard is now locked up in the Marion County Jail. FHP is booking him for 8 counts of DUI manslaughter, but those charges could be upgraded. We checked, and he has several prior arrests dating back at least 15 years. Now, at last report, State Road 40 has now been blocked for about 12 hours as troopers have been investigating this. The crash happened close to where 40 meets Southwest 148 Court in the Ocala area. We have team coverage and are even hearing from one of the farm workers, and we do want to start with News 6's Troy Campbell live near the crash scene. Troy?
Well, Justin, just moments ago, we watched as the first cars were allowed to drive through this stretch of State Road 40 in Marion County. It had been closed for about 12 hours since the crash. We did watch both the bus and the Ford Ranger pickup be towed from this area. This is where they say 8 people were killed and at least 40 others were injured. Now, troopers say just after 6:30 this morning, a bus carrying 53 farm workers was traveling along State Road 40 near Southwest 148 Court in Marion County when the bus was sideswiped by a Ford Ranger pickup driven by Howard, who we just told you about. Investigators say that caused the bus to go off the roadway and overturn. 8 people have died. At least 40 have been transported to the hospital. Farm worker Roberto Marquino, he drove past the scene this afternoon. He says they're all like family and they work very hard at what they do.
Whatever is the job, if it's horses, fields, construction, yards, all kind of, a lot of Spanish working hard,
My heart goes out to them. All right, I've worked many fatalities in my career, and this is the death that you do not expect from your family members. Everybody that's standing right here and your viewers out here, this is the death that is a shock to you, and it's going to be hard on them, and rightfully so, because they just lost a loved one. My heart pleads for them. My heart goes out to them. I pray that the good Lord will give them whatever peace that He can to make them through this.
Troopers say right now they're still working to notify all of the families who had their loved ones pass away here. But again, this stretch of the roadway, State Road 40 in Marion County, has reopened here just moments ago. Live in Marion County, Troy Campbell, getting results, News 6.
All right, thank you, Troy. And the bus carrying those workers was believed to be bound for Cannon Farms. That's in Dunellen, and about 13 miles from the crash site.
Sheriff Billy Wood says this is a busy time of year for migrant workers, and everyone involved in the crash had H-2A work visas and were here legally.
We are a very big agricultural county. So this time of year, we always have migrant workers that are in our county that are on buses just like this. They're hard-working individuals, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with them being here.
On Facebook, Cannon Farms announced it was closed today, quote, out of respect to the losses and injuries endured early this morning in the accident that took place to the Olvera Trucking Harvesting Corp. We have made calls to both companies for more information. Chaplains were brought to the farm and hospitals to help counsel those hurt, as well as friends and loved ones. That includes Advent Health Ocala, where 16 patients were treated. That is where News 6's Emily McLeod continues our team coverage.
Advent Health tells us they treated 16 patients, 12 of them here at Advent Health in Ocala, an additional 4 at their Timber Ridge emergency room. Now, we spoke to a chaplain with Advent Health who came up from the Zephyr Hills area because of a lack of Spanish-speaking chaplains in this area. Now, reaction is pouring in from several county agencies and from Cannon Farms, where the bus was reportedly heading ahead of this morning's crash.
You can tell that they've been through a lot, and perhaps just in the few hours of this morning have been processing what they feel, and shock is not very far away from them at this point.
Andrea Sequeira, a chaplain with Advent Health from the Tampa area, has been working with the victims and their families. He says he's spoken to many of the victims' families over the phone.
I haven't seen any families here, but we spoke on the phone. Families have been, as you can imagine, quite shocked, and there have been tears. But there have also been manifestations of relief, and the patients have been very happy to be in communication with their loved ones.
Marion County Fire Rescue sent out a statement which says, in part, "Today we faced a tragic incident on West Highway 40 in Ocala with a devastating bus wreck. It is with heavy hearts that we confirm the loss of 8 lives." The statement goes on to thank multiple agencies who helped transport the victims, including Marion County Public Schools, who says 1 school bus was used to help transport people. According to the Ocala Star banner, the bus was heading toward Cannon Farms. The farm released a statement on social media saying they would be closed out of respect to the losses and injuries endured in the early morning accident. The Farm Workers Association of Florida also sharing this GoFundMe, asking people to consider donating to the victims and their families after the deadly bus crash.
They expressed a lot of gratitude and relief, and very, very much appreciative of the care that they're receiving. Just an amazing expression of gratitude, because people have been pouring over them to help.
Not long ago, Advent Health tells us they only have 1 patient left out of the 16. They are in stable condition. As for the other patients, they've already been transferred or they are in the process of being sent home. We also reached out to Cannon Farms. We called them, and while their voicemail did acknowledge the crash from this morning and said they would be closed, we were unable to leave them a voicemail because it was full. For now, reporting in Ocala, I'm Emily McLeod, getting results, News 6.
Here is one more look at the suspect. His name is Brian Howard. He's 41 years old. He's being held on at least 8 counts of DUI manslaughter. He is expected to face a judge tomorrow. We'll keep you posted on the news tonight at 11 and for updates as new information comes in, including what the investigators have found out about Howard's past and the crash itself. Head to clickorlando.com anytime.
Well, tonight we are keeping an eye on the skies. More storms on the way. Some of them could turn severe.
Yeah, so today's storm hit early. Titusville Fire Department shared these photos of their response cleaning up after, they say, a tree fell on a home. 1 person there was hurt. And I shared this video earlier today to our Pin It page at clickorlando.com/pins. I mean, it was coming down fast and furious, and that wind was really solid. Chief Meteorologist Tom Searles is here now, pinpointing the timing of that next front. And Tom, you think tomorrow could turn out to be another severe weather alert day?
Oh, we're going to go ahead and call it that. A weather alert Wednesday for you. Everything is going to go back to being stormy by midday tomorrow. Right now, if you have outdoor plans tonight, you're good to go. Absolutely no worries. But here's our risks for tomorrow. We're in the slight category from Ocala to Palm Coast and south. We paint it with yellow here. Green from Ocala to the north from marginal. Slight, a little bit higher. That's 2 out of a scale of 1 to 5. So just know, you got to get ready for that tomorrow. By 4 a.m., the southerly flow is still game on, but here come the storms. By 8 o'clock in the morning, you see them right here, from Palm Coast down to the Gulf of Mexico, and then by 2 in the afternoon, kaboom. From the villages all the way out to Daytona Beach, it all pushes through the metro by about 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and hopefully, by news time tomorrow evening in Montverde, we will be drying out. I'll be right back to pinpoint where we go from here. How much heat are we talking about, and what does your weekend look like from a Tuesday point of view? See you in a minute.
All right, thank you, Tom. We are learning some new details now about how a beefed up law enforcement presence is getting results in middle schools. Volusia County deputies have now been on campuses countywide for 8 weeks. They were assigned after 7 middle schools called law enforcement more than 250 times in the first month and a half of the school year. News 6's Molly Reed is at the Volusia County School District.
We just heard from Volusia's safety team at the school board workshop just now, who rattled off a lot of different numbers and facts. They said just by adding 7 deputies to those 7 campuses who only had school guardians the first half of the year, they saw a lot of those numbers go down significantly.
4 of the schools saw a significant decrease in calls for service, while 3 saw an increase. Keep in mind, all these cases previously required a law enforcement response from a patrol officer or a deputy.
And Captain Todd Smith says the data shows having a deputy on these 7 campuses is making big changes in response times and safety.
In comparing the 8 weeks prior to the 8 weeks following implementation, there was a 52% reduction in weapons on the campuses.
Now, this was a pretty expensive venture for the district after a fight with the county leaders here in Volusia last fall. The district wanted the county to pay for half the cost of these deputies, but the county leaders said no. The schools decided it was worth it anyways, paying over $500,000 for them.
A comparison of referrals from the same time periods in 2023 compared to 2024 showed a decline of 10%.
Now, the other stat that went down were the gaggle alerts, or the alerts that the deputies get if a student makes a social media or online threat. They said those numbers went down by over 55%. In DeLand, Volusia County, I'm Molly Reed getting results, News 6.
Well, some bad news for seafood lovers. Tops our look at the top stories trending tonight on clickorlando.com. You've probably seen this by now, but we first told you 8 Red Lobster restaurants shut down this time last night.
Yeah, right after our newscast ended, we confirmed items from at least 50 Red Lobsters nationwide are up for auction. In fact, the auctioneer's website is billing it as the largest restaurant equipment auction in the nation's history. They are taking bids through close of business tomorrow. If you win, you have to clear everything out in a day. Locally, at least 7 Red Lobsters are closed, including locations in Kissimmee, Leesburg, Sanford, Altamont Springs, and 3 in Orlando. And the closures leave hundreds of local Red Lobster workers suddenly without a job. News 6's Mark Lehman spoke with one of them.
Get that news. It had to have been very sudden.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, we just came off of 12-hour shifts. I mean, I was on a 12-hour shift the day before, exhausted. I'm pretty sure they knew that they were going to auction us immediately after they shut down the restaurant. I mean, we have people that have been working here for 30 years, 40 years, maybe even more.
And what do they do now?
That's a really good question. I mean, I'm concerned about them, but it's harder for them at this point.
That is tough. The Orlando-based seafood chain recently admitted it lost more than $11 million by expanding its endless shrimp promotion.
Hard to think of those Red Lobsters going away. They've been there for so long.
For so
right?
long, yeah, they're a staple.
Or our second top trending headline shows even driver's licenses are going high tech. So here's the headline with this one. No wallet, no problem. You can have your ID on your phone. Here's how. All right, so Floridians can get digital driver's license through the app. At 11 o'clock last night, News 6 anchor Lisa Bell showed us Florida has spent about $2 million on a free smart ID app. That includes your registration and insurance information. Here's part of her report.
I've definitely had it be accused of being a fake. I was like, no, this is from the DMV. This is a real thing.
Jennifer Cashin found out about the app while at the DMV, and she calls it a lifesaver, especially after this crash.
It had triggered the entire airbag deployment. So we couldn't get the glove compartment completely unlocked. We could get it open, but like not get a hand in there, not get anything. And so I was able to prove that we owned the vehicle, that it had insurance.
Cashin is one of the more than 520,000 people who the state says have signed up for the app out of the 18 million licensed drivers in Florida.
The state says it spent nearly $2 million to develop the app. So why aren't more people using it? Well, you still have to carry your physical license if you're driving. And Cashin says many people may not even know about it, and stores might not accept it.
I've checked into hotels with it. I've used it at different venues. I've only had it rejected at 2 venues so far.
I mean, I've never heard of it.
News to me as well. Well, Publix and Winn-Dixie told Lisa they do not accept the smart IDs. So that's probably why not a lot of folks have it, right? At the airport, TSA they accept smart IDs from other states, but not Florida's. at least not yet. So some of the more important places to show your ID, they won't accept.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very interested in it, but I also don't know why you still have to have your physical driver's license on you. I would keep mine with my passport and other important papers just when you travel.
Bit of a
or
learning
something.
curve, I guess.
Yeah.
So what happens if you get pulled over?
Osceola deputies do not accept the smart ID. Seminole isn't aware of anyone trying to use it. Marion's sheriff's office says it can work with the technology. I don't even know what that means. As always, we want to hear from you, and now is the time to weigh in. Tonight's News 6 at 6:30 question of the day: will you get a digital driver's license now that you know about it? You can weigh in at clickorlando.com/react right now. Just click yes or no. Close to 100 of you have voted so far, and overwhelmingly, you all like the idea of a digital ID. Again, make your voice heard at clickorlando.com/react. It's also inside Lisa's story. It's on the homepage.
Well, we like the idea. The problem is if no one's going to accept that form.
Correct.
So the idea is great. I mean, you have everything else on your phone.
Look at this
so
great
why not?
idea I have on my phone.
We're just not going to accept it.
We don't accept it. Okay, we'll have the results tomorrow night right here at 6:30.
All right, so our third top trending story could be deja vu all over again for soccer fans. This is just horrible news. Superstar Lionel Messi was a no-show when Miami was due to face the Lions shortly after he was signed last year. A lot of people spent a lot of big money on that. Now, he is due back tomorrow night. The headline, will Messi play? 5 things to know before Orlando City takes on Inter Miami. And let me just get right to that bad news for you. Mr. Messi is considered questionable. That's according to News 6 Sports Director Jamie Say for tomorrow night's match in downtown Orlando. So let's tell you why. The Argentinian superstar suffered a minor left knee injury in Miami's last match on Saturday. Went down in the 40th minute of the game, but he played the rest of the way. An assistant coach told reporters this morning Messi would go through some training today. He's going to be evaluated, and then a decision would be made regarding tomorrow night's match. Messi missed last year's match in downtown Orlando because of an injury. Now, if Messi does play, be prepared to pay, although I think a lot of people probably already have their tickets for this one.
I think that's one of the, not that the other players aren't great, but everyone wants to see
I mean,
Messi.
he's a generational
Of course,
talent.
yeah. You don't get to see that kind of a guy play just every day, and probably won't get to see him tomorrow night. Now, according to Ticketmaster, the cheapest resale ticket is in the supporters section. It's $120. The most expensive, $3,500, right next to the Inter Miami bench. That'll go down dramatically if Messi is out. I mean, that's terrible.
My question is, if you have tickets, do you just preventatively sell them now while he is still considered questionable, not out?
But what if he plays?
Then you're scrambling. That's true. That's true. I don't know. Let's be optimistic.
All right, News 6 Sports videographer Nathaniel Rivas has posted 5 things to know before tomorrow night's match. That's on the homepage of clickorlando.com. Maybe he can share some wisdom about what to do with that ticket.
Yeah. Hopefully he plays, though.
Yeah,
I mean, that'd be awesome to see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they battled for years to save trees that have been in their neighborhood for decades, and unfortunately today they lost.
It felt like we lost a family member today. There's nothing we can do now. Our tree is gone.
Ahead at 6:30, why their city says those historic trees had to be cut and why families still aren't convinced. And another slight delay for Boeing's Starliner, why Friday's launch attempt was just pushed back and what the 2 astronauts are up to. That's coming up a little later.
First, though, from a farm school to a school known for its basketball team and arts program. Next, how Montverde Academy has changed throughout the years and what the future looks like. You're watching News 6 at 6:30 live on News 6 Plus. We're getting results in Christmas, Claremont, and all of Central Florida.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back to News 6 at 6:30. Tomorrow is the big day. We are hitting the road and doing our newscast live from Montverde, perhaps best known for Montverde Academy.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The private school was founded back in 1912, 13 years before the town was even incorporated. News 6 anchor Lisa Bell recently visited the historic school to learn more about its past and its future.
We don't have a skating club, so look at that.
Montverde Academy's Associate Head of School, Dr. David Rath, is flipping through an old yearbook, looking back at its humble beginnings as a boarding school for troubled kids, both boys and girls.
The school was founded really more as a farm school, so kids did chores, and the school had livestock, and kids really worked the farm and got an education doing that.
Dr. Rath says in the 1920s, the school dropped the word industrial from its name, and its academic reputation took off.
Even by the 30s and 40s, if you were graduating with a Montverde Academy diploma or a Montverde school diploma at that point, you got automatic entry to any school in the South, Vanderbilt, University of Florida, all the good ones.
What I found so interesting is when you look through some of these old yearbooks, even this one from 1927, the number of women who were in the faculty and who were students here, was that unusual for the time?
I would say absolutely. Most independent schools at the time probably would have been predominantly male.
Fast forward to today, the school is celebrating its 112th year and is spread across 125 acres. There's now a day school for elementary students along with middle and high schools, as well as 4 dormitories for some of the older students who come from around the world. Much like its surrounding community, Montverde Academy was pretty small until now.
It was never very big really until even 1999 or 2000. So from 1999, where we had 105 students, going into next fall, we're going to have 1,400.
What do you attribute that to?
So it's obviously the growth that's going on around campus and the surrounding areas, but I think the athletic program has also brought attention to us.
In fact, Montverde Academy now has the top boys basketball team in the country. The girls have won 3 straight national championships. 14 current NBA players walk this campus, but according to Dr. Rath, there's a whole lot more than that to celebrate.
We're the most highly decorated art school in the state of Florida. Arts is not in our name, but we have a music conservatory, a theater conservatory, a dance conservatory. We have a strong robotics program, an incredible Model UN.
So how much does all this cost? $57,000 a year for the boarding school.
What about for the day school?
The day school tuition is $23,000 a year. That is from 6th grade through 12th grade. Okay. It's a little bit lower from pre-K through grade 5.
Well,
Wow.
listen, for that price tag, it sounds like you're getting a lot.
You better get a lot. And they do.
Yeah.
They deliver on everything. Anything you've ever heard about this academy, it is storied, and they are excellent at whatever they do.
It's absolutely gorgeous, too.
Oh, so nice. It's a beautiful campus.
Yeah.
It looks like a college campus.
It sure does. They have even beach volleyball, too, like for their sports. I mean, who does that? Anyway, we're all making the Scenic Drive tomorrow to Kirk Park in Montverde. That's where we are taking our newscasts on the road.
Yeah, and we would love to meet you there. All of our newscasts are live tomorrow starting at 4 o'clock. So again, meet us at Kirk Park so we can learn even more about what makes 34756 a great place to live. We have full details at clickorlando.com/hitstheroad. We certainly hope to see you there.
All right, so they signed petitions, they took legal action, but after years of fighting Brevard County, some people living on scenic Rockledge Drive can now only watch as their beloved trees are being cut.
News 6's James Barbero showed us when the trimming started last month. Today, James is back in his old neighborhood as the heavier equipment is now clearing those narrow roads.
So I just came across some construction signs, so I think I'm close to finding the people who are cutting the trees today. This is a big difference compared to when I was on Rockledge Drive a month ago when Brevard County started the tree trimming. On that day, it was minor trimming, small branches falling onto the road. Today's much different. 15 trees to be severely trimmed, Brevard County says. The pictures I've seen so far are pretty jarring. I've been watching them cut this tree for several minutes now. The man with the chainsaw, he cuts one section of the tree and then he cuts another. This is the 3rd or 4th one that I've watched fall to the street. The tree being cut today is right in front of Kathy Wade's house. Kathy for years has been one of the neighbors fighting that this day would not happen. Kathy, did it feel like a punch in the gut today to watch that tree get cut?
Yes, it felt like we lost a family member today. It's really sad because we've lived here 34 years and now our big tree is gone.
Kathy told me this tree is over 100 years old. She thinks others on the street are as old as 300 years. When the county says they wanted a 14-foot clearance for emergency vehicles, including school buses, why did you think that wasn't valid?
Because we have a group that checked with school bus people, emergency people, and with the garbage company. None of them said that it was a problem for them.
And as they continue cutting trees, can you do anything more from this point, or can you only just accept your reality?
There's nothing we can do now. Our tree is gone.
In Rockledge, Brevard County, I'm James Sparvero, Getting Results News 6.
I drove out there a couple of weekends ago, and I see why they had to cut some of those things, but it just breaks your heart because those trees are so old.
Probably why a lot of folks moved there, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
love a tree-lined street. And to hear that woman go, we lost a member of our family.
Oh, if you see it every single day and you've been out there for,
Right.
decades.
And it's your tree. And, we planted trees. I've lived here a quarter of a century now. We planted small trees when I moved in.
Yeah.
They're big trees now.
Yeah.
I don't want those to go. And my neighbors who didn't plant trees, they park in my shade.
Oh, boy. Get off my lawn.
No, I'm like, plant your own tree, dude. And so for them to come and cut our tree down.
Yeah, it's terrible.
All right, let's talk weather. Scattered showers are coming back for tomorrow. And some of them tomorrow will pack a wallop, kind of like they did today. What you're looking at now is live weather radar, 6:57 in the afternoon, early evening. No rain. All is good. If you have outdoor plans, hit it. Daytime high today was 89 degrees in Orlando. It's a good one. 88 is the normal daytime high. So we beat it. We actually got past 89 after this was issued. Matter of fact, we've fallen back to 89. I know for sure that we hit 90. We might have bounced up there to 91 for a moment between hours. I will check on that for the 11 o'clock newscast tonight. Light Orlando delivering Hope camera, 89 degrees right now. City of Mount Dora, Cam looks pretty doggone good too. 88 degrees in Mount Dora, wind from the southwest at 9 miles per hour. Temperatures in real feel. Okay, look at Kissimmee. 91 with a real feel of 99. Melbourne, 88 with a real feel of 97. And 88 with a real feel of 99 over in the Villages. Tomorrow, from about this line right here, from Palm Coast down to Ocala and south and east, we are in the slight risk for severe weather tomorrow. Be ready. Be on standby. It's going to cover more area tomorrow than it did today. Rain chances are up. Heat index is through the roof. Real feel of 97 on Friday and 102 on Saturday right here in Orlando. High pressure still in control, so it dominates what happens to us. Southerly support waiting for rain tonight doesn't really come, but tomorrow it does. Here we go. 10 o'clock in the morning. Heavy rain from Ocala close to Palm Coast. There it is by noon, and there it is by 3. Ready to rock through the metro. By about 4 and 5, it gets south of Orlando and pushes even farther south. So hopefully our takeover from Montverde gets the rain early and dries out in time for the newscast so everyone can come out and join us. Take a look at where we're going for tonight. Overnight lows on this evening with the rain checked out will all be in the 70s. The official low in Orlando is 74. Here's tomorrow.
Your forecast is sponsored by Florida Lottery.
High tomorrow near 90, and that's only one stair step down from today. Come look at the week ahead. Calling the daytime high tomorrow, 89 with the bigger rain. Then on Thursday, 92, Friday, 95, Saturday, 96. That's hot. The heat index on Saturday is well into the 100 range.
Too soon. Thanks, Tom.
Way too.
Yeah, another slight delay for a Boeing Starliner, why Friday's launch attempt was just pushed back.
Yeah, and you can hear from the astronauts and what they're up to when News 6 at 6:30 continues.